Goldman Sachs, right here. Battery Park. You know how many millions, hundreds of millions of dollars they stole this shit?
So how many people do you think capitalism killed?
What?
You say capitalism kills.
Yeah.
How many people do you think capitalism
Hundreds of millions.
Capitalism
Kills hundreds of millions.
Oh.
There's 2 billion people living on $2 a day. Yeah.
Because of capitalism?
Because of capitalism, right.
Huh.
Right.
And
They're sitting on trillions of dollars right here that they stole. Keep the camera down.
okay.
They stole trillions of dollars from our labor. And that they made off these oil wars with 703 military bases in 130 countries. All that money is being used against us. There's more than enough to feed people. Instead, they're privatizing land all over the world.
How many people do you think socialism killed and communism?
Socialism, first of all, didn't kill anybody. Socialism basically was state capitalism. Communism never really existed. If they were smart enough, there were a few communists. They would have outdone the profit system. That was what killed socialism.
So what system was there in USSR, for example?
Well, the idea was, if you think when the Soviet Union had a socialist revolution, there were millions on the bread lines here in the United States. Over there, they had full employment for generations. People were going over there to find out.
Did they kill anybody?
Huh?
Did they kill anybody?
Who kill anybody?
So, like
the capitalists?
Stalin? No, like socialist system. Stalin, Lenin.
Did we kill anybody when we killed all the Indians that lived here?
Wait.
Killed all the slaves?
We're talking about specifically
socialism.
I'm
talking about a system.
So
capitalism kills.
But did Stalin kill anybody?
Of course.
But
of course, when you have a
Mao Zedong, did he kill anybody?
The reason why France and all those other countries only lasted 7 days before Hitler, because he had all his underground people in those countries. Stalin killed off some of them. That's why at least the revolution lasted. It was the Soviet Union that destroyed the Nazis. If it wasn't for the Soviet Union, we'd all be speaking German right now.
And you don't think that it was the Soviet Union that invaded Poland on September 1st, 1939, together with the Germans?
Sure.
So it was the Russians who actually started the Second World War. They're just as culpable as the Germans are,
well, by that time they had become capitalists.
The Soviet Union became capitalist?
Of course.
Now, you're saying that they never achieved the true socialism. Do you think
they never achieved communism.
Communism. And
they had socialism,
what about,
which is state capitalism.
Socialism
is state capitalism.
Then what's the definition of socialism versus definition of capitalism?
It's the same thing.
Oh, so socialism.
It's a profit system. It's wages.
So
it's capitalism.
Socialism. Wait a minute. In socialism, you're allowed to have a profit. You're saying?
Sure.
Do you know that if you buy something for a ruble, and obviously ruble is the currency in the USSR, and you sell it for 2 rubles, it's punishable by 3 years behind bars.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Then how come there was big lines of shortages during the Soviet Union? And as soon as they became capitalists, the next day the streets were full of goods.
Because they embraced capitalism. Exactly.
Yeah, because the capitalists. That's what I'm saying.
So people became happier.
So socialism was capitalism.
No. Okay, once again, if you buy something for a ruble in Russia and sell it for 2,
first of all, if you have money, you
can't have money in the Soviet Union. It was worthless. Worthless.
Well, if you have money, you have capitalism.
You cannot have money in the Soviet Union. It's worthless. You cannot buy anything.
Whatever you say, they had it. That's capitalism.
No, they didn't. Well, I mean, they used the money in circulation.
Well, so that's capitalism.
So you're saying that every country that has the money is called a capitalist country.
Yeah.
And that's your definition.
We need a system where there's no
money.
profit. No profit.
No profit.
No profits,
no money.
No money. No.
So will you work for no profit?
Of course. We're working now, and most people don't have a chance to work. Imagine if you put billions of unemployed people to work. How much wealth that would produce for everyone.
And how can it produce wealth if they're not getting any money? There's no money.
The wealth is
buy bread,
they have
what are you
no
going to buy
jobs
with?
now. They're committing suicide. They're starving to death. If they work, they have food, they have shelter, they have everything else. They're creating wealth for everybody.
What would they work for if there is no money?
They work for food, for shelter, for have a job, to have a life.
And how do you think you'll get the shelter in the Soviet Union, for example?
How would you get shelter in the Soviet Union?
Yeah.
Well, if you had communism, you put full employment.
In the Soviet
Any
Union.
place, you put full employment. In this country, full employment. You got millions of people in the street with millions of homes empty. Figure it out. That's capitalism.
So, do you think that you have socialism or communism in North Korea, for example?
What?
Do you think that you have socialism in North Korea, for example?
Sure.
They have socialism.
That's what I call state capitalism.
So, is this a good system or is it a bad system?
No, it's not a good thing. Because it leads to fascism.
So, what's your solution?
That's even Hitler called his movement socialist.
So, in other words, you are willing to work for no money. And if you go to
I'm willing to work for people, to have a job. I'm willing to have a job.
But if you go to work and there's no money, how the employer is going to pay you?
Well, just because you were brought up and all you know is money, me, that's not my problem. Millions of workers around the world, they don't have any money in villages. They share everything they got. If you go there, they'll share with you what little they got. You come over here, you ask for nickel or kick you in the face.
Well, see, the thing is, I was actually born in USSR.
Were you born where?
I was born in USSR.
Okay.
So I spent the first 29 years behind the Iron Curtain. And if you were to open borders of the former evil empire, the number of people that will remain over there would have been close to zero. Everybody would love to come to the United States of America.
But you're talking about they were a capitalist system. Nobody wanted that.
In the Soviet Union, there was a capitalist system.
They were exploiting those countries that were using them as colonies.
And they were killing millions of people.
They weren't killing millions of people. No.
But Stalin killed.
The U.S. capitalists killed more people than any country in the world.
Stalin killed 50 million people. You know that, right?
No.
He didn't kill 50 million people?
No.
Mao Zedong killed about 70 million people?
Listen, you know...
How many people do you think Stalin killed?
I'll tell you this much. If you win the war, you write the history books. If you listen to people who control the media here, the one thing they fear is communism, because that means their end. So they'll make up any lie, anything they can about a system that's a threat to them. So they say Stalin killed millions. If it wasn't
you don't think that Stalin killed millions of people?
No. Maybe close to a million, but not.
So, but a million killed here, a million killed there, doesn't really make much of a difference, right?
If you kill a million fascists, it's okay by me.
But Stalin killed totally innocent people.
No. They were fascists. They were fascists, just like the people who took over France and took over Holland, all those countries for the Nazis.
Was Stalin a Nazi?
No.
He wasn't a Nazi. Okay, then let's say the second in command. For example, Marshal Tukhachevsky. Was he a Nazi or not?
How the hell do I know?
Well, but you're claiming that he only killed the Nazis.
I'm talking about systems. I'm talking about...
But you're saying, hold on.
First of all, were you living under the Tsar?
I lived in the Soviet Union.
Did you live under the Tsar?
Well, under the Tsars, it was better than under the so-called communism.
Did you know what it was like to live under the Tsar?
Yes, I do. My great-grandparents lived over there. It was much better. There was no famine.
Yeah, no famine, right?
12 million that were starved to death during the Holodomor in Ukraine between 1932.
How about all the millions that were killed in the wars and were killed by the Tsar's troops? And after the revolution, what happened? There was full employment for everyone, and everybody had food, education, and a job, and the Soviet Union became one of the biggest powers in the world.
So, well, first of all, you think that killing, as you said, only a million people justifies having full employment.
Listen, when you say only a million people...
You said only a million people.
Yes.
You said only a million people here. It doesn't really mean much.
How many million do you think the United States killed?
Of innocent people. Exactly zero. Exactly zero. In a sense,
it shows that I'm talking to somebody who's a total product that doesn't know anything about history.
Give me an example where the United States of America killed anyone without due process. One.
What about all the genocide against the whole Indian nation here, wiping out of a whole people? Millions of slaves killed
Let's-
here and on the ships coming over here.
I'm not gonna
for
go.
profit.
I'm not gonna go back in history.
Oh,
let's
now you can't go
let's,
back.
I mean,
Now,
I can,
history
but it's
doesn't
gonna
mean
be
anything
a
to
long
you.
conversation. We're talking specifically about capitalism.
Look, you
So,
know-
how many people were killed in the 20th century? Stalin was in the 20th century.
No.
So let's
We're talking about
how,
a system.
No.
Capitalism
how
is a
many,
system.
How many people were killed by capitalist system in the 20th century? You said. You say right here.
I don't want your
kills-
limitations.
I know, but
limitations.
how many people were killed in the 20th century by capitalism?
They
I'm
can't-
trying to reason with you. I'm trying to
Yeah,
get your
well,
mindset.
If you want to limit it to only
let's
a
talk.
period.
Well, but
in the 20th century, the
Yeah.
United States. In the 20th century, the United States sent the 7th Fleet to Japan under Admiral Perry, forced them to open up Japan to U.S. exports. Went into the Philippines, killed millions of people. Went into Spain, went into Cuba and all those countries in Latin America,
So-
killed millions of people. Went into the Second World War, killed millions of people.
So you don't think that we were attacked on December 7th, 1941?
Of course.
Your Democratic president
Of
said
course,
that it's
of
the day
course.
that we live in infamy.
Of course.
And what were we supposed to do?
Huh?
To wait until the Japan would invade us
You think-
and enslave
you think-
us?